Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, kami dari kelompok 2 yang akan membawakan tentang materi kode etik dalam profesi kependidikan. Sebelumnya itu, saya akan before that, I would like to introduce our group members, which is, first I have myself, Keisha, and then we have Fatima Zara, and then there is Iva Maulidia, Farah Mufliha, there's Kevin Marcelo, and finally we have Izatul Aziza. Now, let's just jump right into it. So the first materials will be presented by Fatima Zara. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Aisha, for the time. I will explain about the teacher's code of ethics. The term code of ethics consists of two words, code and ethics. Ethics can be interpreted as a way of acting or regulating action and behavior. The word ethics is generally used to study the system of norms or rules that are usually interpreted as code. So, becomes code of ethics. Code of ethics as a guideline for the implementation of a good legal profession. So, the teacher's code of ethics is a guideline as well as a moral foundation for a teacher in behaving professionally. Next. The teacher's code of ethics is a moral basis and behavioral guideline for teachers in carry out their work related to educating, teaching, guiding, training, and directing students. The statements accordance of the Undang-Undang Dasar Nomor 14 Tahun 2005 dalam Pasal 1 Ayat 1. So, this is a legal regulation that regulates the function, position, purpose of teachers and lecturers in Indonesia. So, the teacher's code of ethics is a guideline for behavior or as a control for teachers in carry out their profession. Next. The importance code of ethics for teacher. In the world of education, teachers are very important figures, not only conveying knowledge. Teachers are also expected to be able to get the growth of character and personality of students. Where the teacher's code of ethics is used as reference, then the personality of a teacher must reflect a teacher who is worthy of being emulated. Next. Benefit the teacher's code of ethics. For the first, as a guideline to understand what is and is not allowed in carry out their duties as a teaching profession. The second, to avoid violence. With the existence of teacher's code of ethics to prevent unethical actions or violating social, religious, and legal norms. With that, it can maintain the dignity and honor of the of a teaching profession. And the last, improve professional performance. This code of ethics regulates how a teacher plays their role. By following the teacher's code of ethics, teacher can improve their professionalism. That is my explanation of the material. Thank you for your attention. I will return the moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Fatima, for your explanation. And now we are going to move along to the next, which is going to be explained by our friend Izatul Aziza. So please, time is yours, and make sure you have your cameras on.
Okay, thank you for the time. Kelihatan, Kesha? What are some example of teachers' code of ethic evaluation? For the first is discrimination against student. This article menurut Undang-Undang 1945 Pasal 28I Ayat 2 yang berisi tentang ras, agama, etnis, gender, atau ekonomi sosial. So, this article prohibits any form of discrimination. For example, if a teacher treats students unfairly based on race, religion, ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background, it violates human rights guaranteed by this article. And also, so teachers are required to treat all students equally regardless of their differences. And also discrimination can include like giving more attention to the certain student while ignoring the other student based on personal bias. And then the second is harassment or abuse. Menurut Undang-Undang 1945, Pasal 28G ayat 1 yang membicarakan tentang kehormatan dan martabat. So this article grants every individual, including student, the right to protection of their honor and dignity. Any form of harassment, whether verbal, physical, or sexual, by a teacher is a serious violation of this protection. So teacher must respect the dignity of students, both inside and outside the classroom, and must not abuse their authority to harm or degrade student. And then the third is academic dishonesty. Menurut Undang-Undang 1945 ayat 28F yang membicarakan tentang curang dan penyuapan. So this article relates to the right to access accurate and fair information, engaging in academic dishonesty such as accepting bribes to give unfair grades, violates the student right to be evaluated truthfully and objectively. So the teacher have a responsibility to assess students based on their merits and effort without unethical. And then the fourth is, next please. The fourth is violation of student privacy. Menurut Undang-Undang 1945 Pasal 28G ayat 1 yang membicarakan tentang hak siswa atau perlindungan privasi dan tanggung jawab guru. So, violating a student privacy by disclosing personal information or discussing sensitive matters in public without permission on the student without permission infringes on the student right to personal protection. So the teacher must maintain the confidentiality of student personal information and should not discuss private issues without tell the student or their parents. And then the last is abuse of power. Menurut Undang-Undang 1945 Pasal 8D ayat 1 yang membicarakan tentang keadilan dan etika. So this article guarantees every individual the right to fair treatment and legal certainty. Like if a teacher abuse their position for personal gain, such as asking for a gift to student or to parents, it violates student right, and it violates student right because the teacher are expected to use their authority to use their power to educate and guide the student, not for personal gain. And then, okay, for the next slide. Who made the teacher's code of ethics? For the first is Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia, or we call PGRI. PGRI. PGRI is the largest professional organization accepting teachers in Indonesia, and it plays a key role in formulating and developing the teacher's code of ethics, and also providing ethical guidelines to ensure professionalism among teachers. And the second is Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, or we can say Kemendikbud Ristek. This is as the government body in charge of national education policies. Kemenis is responsible for setting regulation that govern teacher ethics and behavior through various standards and educational guidelines. And the third is Indonesian Teacher Honor Council, or we call DKGI. The council was established to oversee the implementation of teachers' code of ethics and to impose sanction on teachers who violate ethical standards. And then the fourth is teacher and lecturer law. This is not organization, but this law serves as legal basis for the formulation of the Teachers Code of Ethics in Indonesia. It governs the responsibilities, right, obligation of teacher, including ethical aspect of their profession. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Izatu, for your time. And now we're going to move along to the next one, the next presenter. Can you please raise your hand? Okay, time is your Kevin.
Okay, thank you. And my point is, how can we enforce the teacher's perspective? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. There are 8 ways to improve our teacher's code of ethics. First one being the creation and establishment of the teacher's code of ethics. The teacher's code of ethics is created by the teacher's professional organization, which serves as a guide for professional behavior among teachers. Second is monitoring and the implementation of the code of ethics. The teacher's professional organization plays a role in monitoring the implementation of this code of ethics. Third one being handling violation of the code of ethics. If there is a classic violation of the code of ethics by a teacher, the teacher professional organization must investigate the allegations to establish mechanisms. Next point is examination and decision making. The ethnic committee will examine the suspected violation of the code of ethics. This process includes gathering evidence, hearing statements from both sides, and considering whether the teacher violates the code of ethics or not. Next point is imposition of sanction. If proven guilty, the head teacher is gonna get sanction equal to the term that established in the code of ethics and profession organization rules. The sanction may vary from warning, reprimand, and even temporary or permanent dismissal from the teaching profession. And next point is appeal process. A teacher with sanction has the right to file an appeal or objection to the decision. This appeal process is usually handled by a special body formed by the teacher professional organization. Next point is the socialization and guidance. The teacher professional organization and related parties continue to conduct socialization and guidance on the code of ethics to all teachers so that they understand and comply with the applicable rules. The last one is evaluation and revision. The professional organization evaluates the implementation of the code of ethics from time to time, and if necessary, revises the code so that it remains relevant to the times and the needs of the teaching profession. Next slide, please. Next one is, what are the crucial aspects of teachers' code of ethics? First one being pedagogical competence, which is the ability to manage the students' learning that cover their understanding towards the students. The design and execution of the learning, study, result evaluation, and the student growth. Next one is personality competence, which is the ability to have a personality that can be a good example to other students. Next one is social competence. It's the ability to communicate and interact effectively with the student, fellow teachers, students, parents, and the locals. Last one is professional competence. It's the broad and in-depth mastery of the learning material that also covers the mastery of the subject curriculum in school and also the related scientific subjects. That is all for me. Back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin, for your explanation. Next is going to be, does code of ethic apply to every level of education, which I will be explaining briefly. So yes, the code of ethics if for teachers in Indonesia includes teachers guiding students to become a complete Indonesian person according to Pancasila. And teachers have to implement those four things that have been mentioned before. And they can try by obtaining students' data for sources and coaching and guiding the students. Next is, menurut lampiran Peraturan Menteri Pendidikan Nasional Nomor 16 Tahun 2007 tanggal 4 Mei, standar kualifikasi akademik dan kompetensi guru itu dibagi menjadi 4 jenjang yang kita ambil is divided into 4 types of um, uh, levels, and we chose 4 of these, which is the first being playground, and then after that elementary, and then after that we have middle school, and finally we have high school. And for the example that I will be providing is the examples in elementary school is that when you are trying to, as a teacher, you have to have four of those qualification. You have to have four of those qualifications, and for each level requires different methods and approach you have to do when it comes to those four crucial aspects of the teacher's codes of ethics, like the pedagogical competence, personality, social, and professional competence. And for each level requires different because because they have different background, they have different they have different development, they have different stages of growth, which is why they require different types of methods to study and approach. Next is going to be explained by, can you please raise your hand? I think it's Ifamo Lydia.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Take your time.
Okay. What are the correlation of teachers' ethical code and professionalism? Next. Berdasarkan Undang-Undang Republik Indonesia Nomor 14 tahun 2005 Pasal 43 ayat kedua, kode etik sebagaimana dimaksud pada ayat pertama berisi norma dan etika yang mengikat perilaku guru dalam pelaksanaan tugas keprofesionalan. Well, the effect of teachers' ethical code on teachers' professionalism are the first one is improving the quality of education. By adhering the code of ethics, teachers can ensure that every student gets a quality education according to set standard. The second one is strengthening parental trust. Teachers are ensured to be responsible and honest in their duties, thus helping teachers build the trust of parents of students. And then the third one is encouraging self-development. The Code of Ethics serves as a guideline for teachers to continue learning and improving their quality. And then the last one is preventing violation. The Code of Ethics serves as a clear boundary line to prevent teachers from taking unethical action or violating ethical rules in carrying out their duties. Next. Okay, what happens if teachers violates the code of ethics? There are example of teachers code of ethics and their violation. The first one is teachers code of ethics for students. Example of violation such as teachers who is late entering the classroom when the lesson start. The impact is that student can become undisciplined because they imitate the behavior of teachers who's bad. The second one is teachers code of ethics for parents of students. For example, such as collecting fees that are not clear. The impact is that can make parents economically disadvantages, and parents of teachers no longer have full trust in teachers. And then the last one is teachers code of ethics for colleges. Examples such as the emergence of quarrels among teachers at school. The impact is a low level of cooperation and show a bad attitude toward students. Next. Okay, next is consequences of violating the teacher's code of ethics in general. Berdasarkan Undang-Undang Nomor 14 Tahun 2005 Pasal 77 dan 78 masing-masing pada ayat kedua, sanksi sebagaimana dimaksud pada ayat pertama berupa teguran, peringatan tertulis, penundaan pemberian hak guru, penurunan pangkat, pemberhentian dengan hormat, atau pemberhentian secara tidak hormat. Well, we can conclude that if the violation is minor, the sanction are warning and coaching. And then if the violation is major, the sanction can be honorably fired for their job as a teacher. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ifa Maulid, for your explanation. Next is going to be explained by Farah Mufliha. So time is yours.
Okay, my name is Farah Mufliha Syamsul. I will explain on how to raise teacher awareness. So to raise them, we can provide them with workshop and training, be transparent, and rules meeting, and participate active. Okay, here is 2D case example. The first is misuse of fund in SMPN 17 Bengkulu. The school violated Undang-Undang Dasar Nomor 31 Tahun 1999, Pasal 55 Ayat 1. According the article we found, anti-corruption is one way to prevent and cut off corruption culture. Suhandi 2023. And to solve this, we can do anti-corruption campaign to educate both students and teachers. Okay, now second case. It is about teacher discriminating student. The danger the student mental health. So we can give anti-bullying school regulation that will help prevent bullying. It is proven by many research, and this is aligned with Undang-Undang Perlindungan Anak dan Permendikbud 82 tahun 2015 tentang pencegahan dan penanggulangan tindak kekerasan pada satuan pendidikan. Okay, all of this will help create a better school environment, and while teacher can still live up to code of ethics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Farah, for your wonderful explanation. So I will give a brief conclusion on our materials, which is, as a teacher, as a soon-to-be teacher, you have to follow the code of ethics that has been provided for the teachers, for the pedagogic, which will help us stay aligned with the rules in Indonesia and also in school, to create a better environment at school and to create a better environment for even the parents and for the colleagues, and everything about the education should be comfortable and it shouldn't be pushed for the students. So I think that's all from group 2. Thank you so much for having us, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.